Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Half that work week officially in the rear view mirror. I know y'all are excited to be working towards the weekend because it'll be a big one for the Fighting Tiger baseball squad as they get things started 6 o'clock at Charles Schwab Field in Omaha against Arkansas. And right now, all anybody can think about is Arkansas, and that's perfectly fine because that is a big one. And I do agree that the winner between LSU and Arkansas has a great chance to win that bracket. You got a great chance to win that bracket. That means you got a great chance to win the College World Series. And that's a huge game. But there will be more games for LSU, hopefully plural. And one of them will be on Monday. It may be at 1 o'clock. It may be 6 o'clock. And we already know who that opponent is going to be. It's the winner of UCLA and Murray State. So I wanted to take some time to look at those two teams today and kind of tell you what I think about them as a whole and give you a thought on a potential matchup on Monday. Because Friday, I'm going to be all over Arkansas. Saturday, I'm going to be all over Arkansas. And while I'm on the air 2 to 4, we may get the winner of that game because that game is being played at 1 o'clock. So if it's less than 3-hour game, then I'll know who's going to win that game, and we can give a little bit of talk about that. But I want to talk about those teams as a whole right now. And I've written a profile on both of them up at LouisianaSports.net. It's a series I'm calling Bracket Breakdown. Go check it out. The site's brand new today, by the way. If you haven't gone to see it, we switched over providers, and it's a new look. It's got more information. I think it looks better, functions better. We're really excited about it, but it's up there in any event. And I'm going to start with UCLA. This is a team that is in the Big Ten for the first year here. And they have not been back to the College World Series since they won it in 2013. They traveled a ton this year. They went to Corpus Christi, Texas. They played Maryland in College Park all the way across the country. They flew to the Midwest to play in West Lafayette and Champaign, Illinois. They went up to Eugene, which is a pretty long flight too. That was a conference game in the Pac-12, but still it's a longer flight. And they played the Big Ten tournament at Charles Schwab Field in Omaha. So this is a team that's pretty well traveled, but they got to play two weekends at home in regional play. They got that based on the fact that they went 22-8 in Big Ten play. They won all but 2 weekends this year. They lost a series to Oregon. They lost a series to crosstown rival USC. They played well in the Big Ten tournament. They got to the final by winning 3 games and then lost 5-0 to Nebraska in the tournament final. They have not been tested in NCAA tournament play. They opened their regional by beating Fresno State 19-4. They beat Arizona State 11-5, and then Irvine came out and played them on Sunday, and they won that game 8-5 as well. UTSA couldn't hit UCLA. They only scored 2 runs in 2 games, and UCLA won that super regional in 2 games at home. Of course, you'll recall UCLA was supposed to play Texas in Austin. UTSA won that regional, so UCLA got to host the Roadrunners. When I look at UCLA and I look at what UCLA does well, it's impressive. Like, they're very good on offense. Rock Chalowski is their shortstop. He had an offer to play quarterback at Notre Dame and might be the best player in the country. He's hitting .367 with 23 home runs. and 73 runs driven in. He gets on base at a 494 clip. That's just about half the time. And all of that leads UCLA. But it's not just Chalowski. He's the best player on the team, might be the best player in the tournament. But they've got 5 regulars that hit 313 or better. And they don't strike out very much. Only 22 teams in the country strike out less frequently than UCLA. So put another way, they're 23rd in the country in fewest strikeouts. Now, they may play LSU or Arkansas on Monday, and LSU and Arkansas are both in the top 5 in the country in pitching strikeouts. So that will be a battle of wills between those staffs if one of them will see UCLA on Monday. So whoever it is, whether it's in the winner's bracket or the loser's bracket, you'll see that. The other thing with UCLA is they're stellar in the field. They fielded a 982 percentage. That's 7th in the country. That ties Oregon State, who's in the field, and it's just behind Arkansas. Arkansas leads the nation in fielding percentage. But that's the positive. They got a great player, a good lineup, and excellent in the field. They've also got a good bullpen. I think they use it maybe a little bit too much, but it's good. No UCLA starter finished the 5th inning in the regional. That's 3 games. Nobody finished the 5th. The bullpen got 49 outs in the regional. The starters got 32. In game 2 of the Super Regional against UTSA, UCLA had their number 2 starter, Landon Stump, on the mound. He had thrown 4 shutout innings. UCLA was winning 1-0, and they pulled him to go to the bullpen. Like, they're going to go to their bullpen guys early and often. That is what they feel like the strength of this team is. And I'm not sure. I've looked at stats. I watched the highlights from the games, and I'm not sure if that's because John Savage doesn't trust his starters or because he trusts his bullpen implicitly. Either way, you know that the bullpen's coming in early for UCLA. Now listen to this statistic on their starting rotation. Some of this blows my mind, truly. Michael Barnett is their ace. My assumption is he's going to pitch on Saturday afternoon against Murray State. He's 12-1. And when I say UCLA ace 12-1, you're probably thinking like, that's a first-round draft pick. Michael Barnett is allowing opposing hitters to hit 294 on the year. 294 in the Big Ten. He's got a fastball that's 89 miles an hour. He kind of lives on deception, changing speeds, flipping the breaking ball up there, throwing the changeup, trying to sneak the fastball. But like in 2 regional weekends, mind you, UCLA won both games he started. He allowed 12 hits and only had 1 strikeout in 10 1/3. That's just crazy to me. That a guy who is 12-1 for UCLA, and we understand that pitching records can lie, is letting opponents hit 294 for the season and had 1 strikeout in his regional and super regional outings combined. And then you look at the number 2, I mentioned that Stump, Landon Stump, who they pulled after 4 innings of his start in the Super. Those 2 guys combined in their regional starts on regional weekend in LA didn't strike anybody out. No strikeouts against Fresno State and Arizona State. That's bizarre to me. And so the good news for UCLA is their defense is good enough to catch the ball as often as they need to when their 2 starters are out there flailing away and not striking anybody out. But I just don't trust that starting staff to eat enough innings to keep your bullpen rested. Now, if they get in the winner's bracket and stay there, they'll be okay because you play on Saturday, you're off on Sunday, you play on Monday, you're off on Tuesday, you play on Wednesday, and if you win on Wednesday, you're off Thursday and Friday. So you can have enough off days to make that work. But if you get in the loser's bracket and let's say you lose on Saturday, and then you got to play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you play Saturday, like that can be a lot. So it's imperative, I think, for UCLA to either get more out of their starting staff or stay in the winner's bracket. We'll see. They pitched the heck out of it against UTSA. They allowed 2 runs in 2 games. So I'm not saying they're bad at pitching. They're good at pitching. It's just a lot out of the bullpen. And you're maybe wondering as an LSU fan, how much of that is left-handed versus right-handed? Both starters are right-handed, and all the bullpen guys except 2 that they use are right-handed, and the left-handers are kind of specialists in that role. So I think UCLA is a good team. I worry that they don't walk very much. You need to walk in Omaha, and they're 112th in the country in walking. And that's only better in the field than Coastal, Arizona, and Louisville, and those are all on the other side. The other three teams walk more frequently than UCLA, and that's facing Big Ten arms that probably aren't great. So I think this is a good UCLA team, and I think Chalowski's a superstar, but I'm a little concerned with their starting rotation. Now, you look at Murray State, and I'll be a little bit more concise with the Racers because they're an easier story to tell. They have simply gone ablaze with their bats. You're talking about a team that over an 11-game run has hit .336 with 20 home runs and 32 doubles. Again, 11 games, .336, 20 homers, 32 doubles. And that's 3 games against Ole Miss, 1 against Georgia Tech, and 2 against Duke. That's a lot of work getting done against SEC and ACC competition. 7 of their 9 everyday players are hitting .286 or better in the postseason. Dustin Mercer is hitting .500, 25 for 50. Jonathan Hogart has got 8 home runs in 11 postseason games. This is not what they were all season. They were a team that entering the regional was hitting .276 as a team, and they've just gone ablaze. But listen to Murray State's starting pitching. 3 Racers have combined to start all 11 games of this postseason. So they played 11 games, and 3 guys have started all 11 of them as a starting staff. Kane Elmy in those 3 starts, 6.17 ERA. Nick Schutt, 3 starts, 9 ERA. Isaac Silva, 5 starts, 9.82 ERA. Now, if you're looking for LSU and when they would see Murray State potentially on Monday, you probably would see Isaac Silva. He's been their second starter in the season, in the conference tournament, in the regional, and the super regional. Isaac Silva has been their number 2 starter. LSU lines up for that. Winners bracket, losers bracket. If you see Murray State, either way on Monday, Silva's probably the guy you'll see. His ERA in the postseason is 9.82. 9.82. He started on Saturday, the regional against Georgia Tech, came back and started in the final against Ole Miss. In those 2 outings in Oxford, 8 1/3 innings, 9 earned runs on 7 hits. He walked 6 and struck out 9. Ole Miss hit 2 homers off of him, and then Duke smoked him on Sunday. 6 earned runs on 6 hits, 3 home runs in 5 1/3 innings. He's a right-hander, 3/4 arm slot, throws 91. Like, there's not much to it. Murray State's hitting like crazy, and they may keep doing it, or they may revert back to what they were for the better part of 14 weeks. But even in this run where Murray State is beating Ole Miss and beating Duke and getting to Omaha, the 3 guys that they start in games are getting bludgeoned. Now, the one thing about Murray State on the mound is their closer has been nails for them. And I don't know how much is left in his right arm, but he's been awesome. His name's Graham Kellum, and in 6 of the 11 postseason games, he's been called on. He's worked 16 innings. The ERA in those 16 innings is 2.81, 26 strikeouts and 4 walks. Opponents hit .203 against him, and he's had 4 saves in the postseason. But he's thrown 203 pitches over the last 2 weeks in intermittent spurts. 9 pitches, then comes back Sunday, 34 pitches on Sunday, 70 the next day. In the Super Regional, 43 on Sunday, 47 on Monday. No rest. So he's the guy they want to get it to. He's the only pitcher they've got that's having success getting people out. And I don't know if he's going to be fresh and ready to go in Omaha or if he's going to be whipped. But Murray State is kind of a one-trick pony at this point. Can they score 11 runs on you? Because you're going to score on their pitching. So these 2 teams will match up on Saturday. I strongly suggest that UCLA will win that game. I don't believe Murray State's going to win any games in Omaha, but they can because they can hit. And if their closer's ready to go and he's going to go 4 innings, you better hope that it's not against you, because everybody else you can swing the bats against. So that's a general breakdown of UCLA and Murray State. We'll watch that game at 1 o'clock on Saturday, and then we'll learn LSU's fate just a few hours later as LSU and Arkansas play the nightcap at 6 o'clock. But if you'd like to read in long form on the website for free about Murray State and UCLA, you can check that out at louisianasports.net. Tomorrow, before I go to the airport at like 4:30 a.m., I'm going to post the preview of Arkansas, kind of my thoughts on that, and I'll wrap it up with LSU tomorrow afternoon. And then you'll get my dispatches from Omaha on Friday and certainly Saturday, getting you ready for the game specifically. But I wanted to get that out of the way here on this Wednesday. Moving forward, it's going to be a lot of LSU and Arkansas conversation on this show and most of the shows you're going to hear. I thought it was worthwhile to go to the other two teams in the bracket. Step aside, come back with more. It's a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Contact Joey Blanchard. Tell him the Hunt Palmer Show sent you over there if you're looking to get into that outdoor kitchen pool setup. It's hot in Louisiana most of the year. You can get in that pool from March into October. So look, if you want to get into that pool, the process, depending on weather and your design, obviously, can be 6 to 8 weeks. Just depends on how quickly you want to start and what that project entails. But you're not going to know until you have the consultation with Joey, who's the owner of the company, by the way. He'll sit down with you, look at the software, put that design to customize to exactly what your specifications are. No matter if you want it for your family, for the kids, as a cocktail pool, whatever the case may be, he can make it happen. He's done for dozens and dozens and dozens of residents around the Baton Rouge area. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools. You can find them online at builtbyrenaissance.com, builtbyrenaissance.com. The Saints continue their work in mandatory minicamp. The best news, really, from yesterday was not anything that happened on the field. You know, we love to overreact to the first practice and that type of thing. But the best thing is that the Saints had perfect attendance, and that's awesome. The Tyrann Mathieu was out there. Chris Olave was working out. Taysom Hill made an appearance, although he's not anywhere close to being able to participate. The attendance was perfect, and that's the most important thing. But as I start to go through the roster, look at where there may be some question marks, where some guys are going to have to step up, I think one of the spots that jumps out to me is running back. The Saints made the decision to bring Alvin Kamara back on a 2-year deal. I didn't love the deal, but it has nothing to do with Alvin Kamara. I just didn't like it relative to the Saints salary cap situation, the age of their roster, and the size of the contract at that position. Kamara has been nothing but a pro every step of the way. He did not hold out. He went to practice. He did not sit out games. He went and played. He played hurt while he was in the middle of a contract negotiation, and then got what he wanted. Signed on the dotted line and wants to finish his career as a New Orleans Saint. We'll see if that happens or if it doesn't, but he's here for the next 2 years. And last year, Alvin Kamara took on his heaviest workload ever. And it showed because the Saints were not very good up front blocking for the run. He was getting bludgeoned most weeks. You had young quarterbacks who were anxious to check the ball down and get rid of it, and he took the brunt of all that. And he never complained, and he never sat, and he just went out there and played. And now that contract situation is behind him, it's all about being the best player he can be. And I'm confident that Alvin Kamara will be a good player next year. But I'm also confident that Alvin Kamara can't do this by himself. You need to find the Mark Ingram. You need to find the guy that can take some of that workload between the tackles off of him, maybe help on some third downs, and drop this workload of Alvin Kamara's from an 11 out of 10 down to a 7. He can still be the bell cow back. He hasn't shown that he can't do that. But somebody's got to help. So the question is, who is that? Your first option is clearly Kendre Miller, and we have talked about him ad nauseum, but he's still very much in the conversation. And he's got to stay healthy, and he's got to show what he can do. I don't even have a good sense for what Kendre Miller can do because he rarely practices and he rarely plays. I can see a flash here and there. Big run, good catch, nice YouTube videos from practice. But there's not enough meat on the bone of him in games to make a real generalization about what he can be. So you bring in competition for him, obviously, because you don't know. If you knew, you wouldn't have to bring in competition. You don't know. And so you go draft Devin Neal, who I think that the majority of folks, whether you're a draft analyst, Saints fan, whoever, think that's a really good pick. That's a uber productive power conference back that has shown in his skill set that he can be a between the tackles runner, a threat out of the backfield. He can make plays in space. He can carry a heavy workload. The only thing you don't love about Devin Neal, he's not a massive guy, and he has been used a ton. When you're the all-time leader in the history of a program, which he is for Kansas in terms of career rushing yards, you've taken hits and you've lost a little bit of tread on those tires. But Derrick Henry got a lot of carries in Tuscaloosa, and he's fine. Now, Derrick Henry's kind of a freak, but you get the point. There are plenty of running backs that have taken a lot of workload at the college level and have translated to being really good pro backs. So I think that Neal is going to compete. I think he's got a real chance to make that team and to eat into Kendre Miller's playing time. And the Saints brought in Cam Akers, who folks in this neck of the woods that pay attention to college football are really familiar with. Cam Akers is a guy that LSU recruited very heavily, but he ended up at Florida State, and he had a really good career at Florida State. And he went on to the Rams and has been a very, very productive back for the Rams, Vikings, and the Texans. You're talking about a guy who right now stands at 2,000 rushing yards. He's never been like an 1,000-yard back, but he's been available to catch the ball out of the backfield. He's been available to be a second option out of the backfield. And I think a guy that has been in the league for 5 years, has 26 years old, has a real chance to help you. Not as your number one back, but as a guy who spells Alvin Kamara. And that's all I'm talking about here. I need 6 carries, 2 catches every week so that Kamara doesn't have to do everything. And Cam Akers is a pro. He's got good size. He's still got good speed at 26 years old. And I'm not telling you he's going to make the team or that he's my favorite option. My favorite option is probably Kendre Miller, but I don't know if I can trust that. And I like Devin Neal as a draft pick, but I think that bringing in Cam Akers on a cheap deal as a veteran is fine. This is something we talk about with every single prospective player the Saints look to add. You sign 25-year-old Cam Akers to a 4-year contract, what the Saints obviously would never do, but we're just having hypotheticals here. You sign him to a 4-year deal, that's ludicrous. 1 year, few million with the money you've got sitting around, sure, I'm good with that. If he becomes a guy that makes the team and takes the lion's share of the carries away from Devin Neal and Kendre Miller, well, then you've got an issue with those two guys. I think the point of bringing Cam Akers in and having him on the team and with the squad in training camp is to have an insurance policy if the 2 guys you drafted don't work out. Ideally, Cam Akers is a non-factor on the team. Ideally, one of the other 2 guys who are younger, cheaper, and guys that you brought in the draft are your options. Like, those two guys should be. But you need insurance, especially at that position where guys get dinged up and get hurt. So, again, another ad that I'm perfectly fine with, another guy that I think could make the team. It's just one of those deals where I'm hoping it goes another direction. I'm hoping Devin Neal is the guy. I'm hoping Kendre Miller is the guy. And we know that Alvin Kamara is going to be who he is. We'll continue to monitor it throughout minicamp. Right now, they're just going through 7-on-7 stuff, a lot of checkdowns, not any contact. You're not going to draw a ton of information from it. But if you're just looking at the numbers and the potential production from the Saints running backs, somebody's got to step forward. We'll see. If you're looking for our Saints content, find it, Hunt on Saints on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt on Saints. You can find it there. Ross Jackson doing an awesome job with LouisianaSports.net of running the Saints down during mandatory minicamp, and he's got a couple pieces already up today on the site, so go check all of that out. We got 30 minutes left to go. Come back with us on The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Safety can be a big issue in the bathroom, especially as folks age. If you've got a loved one in your life and you're thinking, bathroom could be a hazardous spot, you understand you can't completely take that risk away, but you can mitigate against it. Non-slip floors, walk-in tubs, showers with benches on them, handrails on slippery areas. All those could be the difference between a nasty fall and not. David Duvall and his team do this all the time. So reach out, say, hey, I heard about you on Hunt's show. I'd like to talk about potentially mitigating against some issues in the bathroom. David Duvall and his team, happy to help you with it. Go check out the pictures of their fantastic work at OneBathAndClosets.com. You'll see those pictures. You can see testimonials from their satisfied clients and get that free consultation. Financing is available, 0% up to 18 months if you qualify. It's David Duvall and One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
All right, about 25 minutes left to go here on this Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Let's talk a little LSU football here. Been a little bit of news. Not a lot of news. A little bit of news, okay? The SEC has kind of announced kickoff times for the SEC football schedule to come in the fall of 2025. We already knew LSU's first 4 game times. The game at Clemson, this is all central, is at 6:30. The home opener against Louisiana Tech is at 6:30. The game against Florida at home is at 6:30. And the game against Southeastern Louisiana on the SEC Network is at 6:45. We already knew what the first month looked like. So now we get a look at what the rest of the schedule might look like. Just a lot of flexes, mind you. The game against Ole Miss is going to be a pretty big one. September the 27th in Oxford. That's flexed. We don't know when it's going to be. The game against South Carolina in Tiger Stadium. Big one there. Lenora Sellers, Garrett Nussmeier. It's going to be one that a lot of folks have eyes on. October the 11th. Flexed. We don't know what it's going to be. LSU's going to Nashville to play Vanderbilt. It's a trip a lot of folks want to make. It's a great trip to go on. You've got great bars and restaurants, great city. You're going to get good tickets because there are no bad tickets in Vanderbilt Stadium, and usually you win. You'll just have to get out there pretty early because that's going to be an early kickoff. Now, I don't know what early means. It's 11 a.m. to noon, so it's going to be the 11 a.m. kickoff probably in Nashville for LSU and Vanderbilt. I'll tell you this. As a post-game show host, I like that. That gets me off my duty at about 5 p.m., I realize that y'all hate those for home games. For away games, especially in Nashville, could be worse. You could go to the game early, maybe go to a bar or restaurant afterwards. So early game for LSU at Vanderbilt. Texas A&M in Tiger Stadium, big one. October 25th, right in front of the bye week, flexed. We don't know what that's going to be. Could be 2:30 to 3:30, could be 5 to 7. We don't know if it's early or late. Alabama. On the road, Tuscaloosa, Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's going to be a night game. That thing is going to be between 5 and 7. I'm sure it'll be a 7 o'clock primetime kickoff from Tuscaloosa. Home game against Arkansas. Bad news for you here. Home game against the Hogs, going to be an early kickoff, probably 11 o'clock, maybe noon. So LSU will not have all night games this year. There will be one that is early. That is against Arkansas on the 15th of November. Could be phenomenal weather, though. We'll see. And then Western Kentucky, the final non-conference game. That'll be a night kickoff between LSU and Western Kentucky. Season finale at Oklahoma. That's going to be a flex. Could be in the afternoon. Could be at night. Not going to be early. So that's what you're looking at. If you're talking about home games in Baton Rouge this coming fall, want to get your tailgate and plans ready to roll. You're talking about Louisiana Tech at night, Florida at night, Southeastern at night. And then those are the only guarantees. Western Kentucky at night. So 4 of your home games guaranteed at night. South Carolina is flexed. Texas A&M is flexed. And Arkansas is early. So your variables there are the 2:30 kickoff or the night kickoff between LSU and Texas A&M and LSU and South Carolina. And that makes a lot of sense because, you know what some of these teams are likely to be. Vanderbilt's likely to not be very good. You put that one early. Alabama, likely to be good. You put that one at night. Arkansas, likely to be terrible. You put that one early. Oklahoma, not sure. South Carolina, not sure. Texas A&M, not sure. They're all flexed. I figure LSU and Ole Miss will both be in good shape on September the 27th. Certainly LSU does have 2 tough games at Clemson and then home against Florida before that, but that's probably going to be a pretty big game, and that one is flexed, so we'll see. But I guess the thought is if LSU's lost 2 games or if Ole Miss stumbles out of the gate with a new quarterback, that maybe that's a spot where you'd like to move that game a little bit earlier. We'll see. I don't have a great feel for how the ESPN and the SEC want to handle their workload at this point. We knew for a long time that CBS is going to pick, and then boom, you're going to see the night game on ESPN that's primetime. So those are the first 2 that come off. Might have a big one at noon. You're going to have your crappy non-conference games. Whatever gets stuck on the SEC network is going to not be very good, but that's going to be a night game. So we kind of knew how that pecking order was going to work. I think there are more variables when the network has everything at one time and there are additional games. So you're not fighting over games like CBS is fighting ESPN for games. ESPN's just calling all these shots. So I think this makes a lot of sense. I know that LSU fans are not going to like the Arkansas game being early, but you don't play a lot of those. I don't know how many of you are active in the Twitter world and online and seeing, but most of the conference gets cranky because LSU gets so many night games. I know that they get cranky about that at Arkansas. They get cranky about that at Georgia as well. There was a coach that made a comment about LSU. I'm sure they got to play at night. Oh, it was Kiffin last year. Kiffin got cranky because LSU and Ole Miss were the night game at home, and then Ole Miss played Georgia, and it was in the afternoon, and he didn't like that. Surprise, surprise. Kiffin was the one that was popping off. Had to bring that back into my memory bank because this just came out, so I didn't have time to prep that segment. But every once in a while, they are going to stick you in an early morning kickoff, and it's going to be one of the games. I guess Arkansas is one that makes a little bit of sense. I actually think if you're making the trip to Vanderbilt, that early kickoff is not bad, especially if it's noon. You can go out on Friday night, have yourself a good old time, get up, get out there, go see a game that you hope is out of reach in the third, fourth quarter, and then you're out of there at 3 o'clock and you can go see Nashville. Go to the Country Music Hall of Fame, go out to Broadway and check out the bars, go home. You can do that too. So I think that's a decent little compromise there for if you hate morning games. That's maybe one that you might enjoy being a little bit earlier. So still a lot to be determined when those games are going to be played as far as the flexes go. But football trying to stay a little bit relevant, trying to stay in the news cycle, trying to keep you engaged in football as most teams now are done for the athletic calendar. LSU is not. Got to go to Omaha, but there's only 2 teams in the league going to Omaha, LSU and Arkansas. Everybody else is on to football. So we'll be there soon enough, but not quite yet. got a little bit of baseball to take care of in the next week and a half. We got one more segment to take care of here on a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Come back with us for a little take it or leave it, and that'll be it.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Oh, I did the wrong live, didn't I, last time? No one told me in the break. So let's talk about Genesis.
Didn't even notice, honestly.
GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. I was looking going, that doesn't look right. GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. It's a luxury experience at a reasonable price. That's the Genesis model. Most of you that are listening to me have not gotten behind the wheel of a Genesis because it's new. But put them on your list. Whether it's a sedan all the way up to the SUV, no matter what your situation is, they can handle it. And they'll have a phenomenal vehicle for you. And the best part is that it's going to be one of the safest cars on the road. Every single model in the line, all of them, were given the IHA top safety picks. Some of them were top safety picks plus. And every single one comes with the same baseline safety features. They don't cut corners at Genesis. So if you're looking for a great vehicle, a luxury vehicle at a reasonable price, it's going to be one of the safest cars on the road. It comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty and 3 years of complimentary maintenance. Genesis of Baton Rouge is where you need to be. GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Your Fighting Tigers of LSU are back in the College World Series, and we've got all our eyes on Omaha, powered by Our Lady of the Lake, starting with a special edition of the Hunt Palmer Show this Friday from 1 to 3. Then Saturday afternoon, Hunt will set the scene for the Tigers and Arkansas Razorbacks from 2 to 4 p.m. Our coverage is also presented by GoFlow IV Spa. Watch every broadcast live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Go Tigers from Our Lady of the Lake, GoFlow IV Spa, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I'm getting very excited, as you might imagine. I'm hopeful that I go to Omaha a bunch of times in the coming years. It's a place that I've been 3 times. Did the old Rosenblatt in 2009 for the first 2 games of that College World Series. Was there in 2013 when LSU went 2-0, and then obviously 2 years ago was fortunate to go up with my dad for the championship series and see one of the coolest things these 2 eyes have ever seen. The cool thing about it is when LSU goes, there's such a groundswell from the fan base, whether it's going for your 14th time, which I'm certain some people will do, going for the first time, which I'm also certain some people will do. I just got a text 45 minutes ago from a buddy that said that he's going for the first time ever. Can't wait, wanted some do's and don'ts, which I did supply him with. And I've got another buddy that was telling me yesterday, or was texting yesterday, where are we going to play golf? Which I don't think I have time to go play golf while I'm up there. I got a lot going on, but it's just a cool thing that LSU fans throw their arms around it every single time that the Tigers go. Even sometimes when the Tigers don't go, LSU sends a ton of people up there. So I'm anticipating a lot of purple and gold for the game on Saturday. I'm also anticipating a ton of red in the game on Saturday, and I think it's just going to be a classic between 2 of the great programs in the sport with a lot to play for on Saturday. So like Beck just said, I'll be traveling tomorrow, and I'll be back on the show on Friday from the Ameristar 1 to 3. If you're in the area, staying at the hotel, or want to come over and say hey while you're killing some time on Friday, I would love to see you in the sportsbook. It's an ESPN sportsbook. I'll be right there doing the show. I'll have it all set up, maybe, if I can get it figured out. And we'll have 2 great hours for you, and then 2 more great hours from 2 to 4 on Saturday as we do a pregame show leading into LSU and Arkansas. That first pitch is set for 6. Airtime on the network will be at 5:30. I'm going to go from 2 to 4, then pack everything up, put it up in the room, and then go to the stadium and be able to get there for first pitch so I can cover it for LouisianaSports.net. But we've got you covered as long as LSU's there. I'm going to be there. My flight home is currently booked for the Tuesday after the championship series. I would love to get on that flight. That means LSU had a heck of a run. But we'll be there as long as they're there, and very, very much excited to do it. So tomorrow, Anthony Renato will be in for me. He'll have a ton of great guests. I'll talk a lot of great baseball, and I'll be locked and loaded, ready to go on Friday. But for now, While we're still in Baton Rouge, one more order of business is take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Light by Yingling, next generation of light beer. Your go-to for your baseball Saturdays, football Saturdays coming up. It's light on calories, full on flavor, so you do not have to trade taste for stats. Look, it's built for Louisiana weekends. Grilling, boiling, fishing, playing golf, watching the game. Light by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
Alrighty, first one here, the Phoenix Suns and Kevin Durant, along with his business partner, Rich Kleiman, have met multiple times over the past week and are sifting through trade scenarios, sources told
Sure they are.
ESPN on Wednesday, according to Shams, of course. Teams interested, the Rockets, Spurs, Heat, Timberwolves, and Knicks. KD in New York, take it or leave it.
Leave it. I'm leaving everything. Like, I just don't understand this career. It's so fascinating to me where a guy just doesn't care where he plays, wants to move every year. I realize he's been in Phoenix for a couple of years, but like he's a ping pong ball around the NBA, and he can still get buckets, and he'll be a Hall of Famer, and I don't know what team he'll represent when he does that. I guess maybe Golden State where he won titles, but like it's just there's something to be said for attaching yourself to a community in any capacity whatsoever, and KD has just never done that in any way, shape, or form. It's not a requirement, but it's a nice story.
Yeah, it's weird. This is how the NBA is now, and how it's been for probably the last at least 5 or 6 years. But KD is definitely going to be one of the greatest players to play for more than 5 teams. It's just crazy that he has played for so many teams.
Shaq did it, but he spent his whole career essentially in 3 places: Orlando, Lakers, Miami. The whole deal where he goes to Phoenix and the Celtics and all that, but whatever.
Yeah, but it's still, most of that stuff with Shaq was towards the end of his career. With KD, he's still
he was hopping every year, it seemed like.
Yeah, it's really shocking, but that's just the NBA that we are in today. All right, last one here. Tiger Woods was asked about the U.S. Open starting tomorrow at Oakmont. He said, quote, "There is no faking about Oakmont. The golf course is big, but it's just there's no way around it. You just have to hit the golf ball well, and it favors the longer hitters just because of the degrees, the complexes. It helps so much to be coming with shorter irons in. It's about missing the ball in correct spots, because if you don't, it is horrible." You agree with Tiger. It'll be about long drives and short irons. Take it or leave it.
I'll take that. I'll take it. It's almost always about that. Now, if you can't get in the hole from 6 feet, then you're not going to do anything. That's the last piece to the puzzle. Driving, iron play, putting, pretty important stuff. But I think the long hitters are going to do it. You can't be one of the shorter hitters and survive, because you're not going to hit enough fairways and you're not going to be able to survive. So I think that it's going to be a longer hitter. I don't think Rory's going to win it. I think you're looking at Bryson. I think you're looking at Scotty. And then maybe another couple
I think
of guys.
Xander Schauffele has always played well in the U.S. Open.
He can hit it far enough to deal with it. He got that speed in the last couple of years. But I don't think it's going to be like a Matthew Fitzpatrick type that kind of shows up and wins. It'll be an established horse. It's not going to be a Wyndham Clark that shows up and wins it. It's going to be an established horse, and I would struggle not to take Bryson or Scotty. Yeah, the U.S. Open they've had a bit of a problem in the last 3 or 4 years with the scores have been, relative to U.S. Opens, the scores have been a lot lower than you would expect in the U.S. Open. Like you said, you've had guys like Wyndham Clark and Matt Fitzpatrick win. In years past, you would usually see, as it's usually called the toughest test in golf, and it usually weeds out those guys that aren't at the top of their game and aren't the best players in the world. So hopefully this is a return to form for the U.S. Open. I don't expect that the scores will be as low as some people expect, because the last time I played as high or as low, I
think they're going to be lower than people think.
Okay. I
think a lot of people expect that the winning score is going to be 2 or 3 over. I think it's going to be under par, because the last time this tournament was played here was 2016, and Dustin Johnson won it at 4 under. That was 9 years ago, and I won't say that the equipment has changed a lot, but it's evolved a lot more. These guys are a lot better. There's a lot more guys, I think, that could win it.
What do you think about Oakmont telling Gil Hanse, who did the redesign of some of the greens, do not make it any easier? That's like a badge of honor they wear. They have like one of the 2 or 3 hardest golf courses in the world, in the country. Do you like that? Would you be a member there?
I don't think so, because it's just like you're just wanting to go out and just hurt yourself every day with how just incredibly difficult it is. Like,
they don't grow the rough up like that when they don't have the U.S. Open.
No, they don't. But I heard that they actually run the greens faster.
They run the greens fast
off of the tournament.
Not that I've ever played Oakmont.
Which is insane to me. But I don't know. I would not want to play there. I'd want to play somewhere where it's a challenge, but it's not like just the most ridiculous challenge.
How's your confidence that I'll be on the air loud and clear at 1 o'clock on Friday?
It's a decent bit high, because I know that you're going to get started early with trying to get it set up. So I feel pretty good about it.
I'll be the only one there. Nobody there to help.
Yeah.
Bo's going to have to be on FaceTime, and we're going to try to figure it out. For those that are curious about Friday's show, I've never set up one piece of radio equipment in my entire life. I've been on the air in some capacity about 14 years. I've never touched the equipment. That changes on Friday when I have to set the entire show up by myself. So wish me the best of luck.
Good luck.
No issues with traveling. It's all about trying to get the radio show set up for Friday. All right. I'm leaving on a jet plane. Y'all enjoy Anthony tomorrow, and I will be back same time, different place from Omaha on Friday.
The Hunt Palmer Show.